we're on a flat or a slight decline, I'm going to create this V shape with my feet, as you can see. And now I'm going to do what I call the penguin shuffle. I'm very simply keeping this angle, this pizza shape angle with my skis, lifting up my knees, and then stepping. I'm not gliding much, I'm just simply stepping. And I'm turning and I'm coming back. We're going to do the penguin walk, but in a 360. I'm bringing my toes, tips of my skis together. My outside to inside, outside to inside. Simple as that. And let's go the other way. I've got my hands out in a nice low, strong position. My body is in a low position. I'm not upright like this with straight legs. I'm crouched, I'm bending, and I can tackle anything at any time. Lovely. The fast feet exercise is simply getting used to moving side to side, tap, 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 really fast steps. And then we can go super fast. You're just getting used to transferring your body weight now. Assuming you've done that for a couple of minutes, you feel quite comfortable, we're going to stand on one foot, stand on the other foot, stand on one foot, stand on the other foot, jump, jump, jump. Now it doesn't have to be a big jump, it can simply be a little bob of weight from side to side. Again, the purpose of this is only to get yourself used to getting the weight from side to side, so that when we start cornering, you are familiar with what it feels like to push off one ski onto the other with confidence. So we need to be able to generate a bit of momentum with our penguin walk. As you get more confident with the penguin walk, lifting your feet up side to side and just shuffling your body weight from side to side like this, you may find yourself starting to glide just like you did when you were doing the 1 foot exercise, the 1 foot drills. You want to encourage as much of that gliding as you can by pushing sideways. Then want to make sure that you're still managing to bring your feet underneath your body. What you don't want to do is to find your legs out here and then you're straight and the skis are straight and you don't know what to do. You need to be able to lift your feet underneath your body. So the main thing about this drill is, yes, you're standing, you're doing your penguin, you're transferring your weight, or you're at least going from ski to ski, but my ski always comes underneath my body. It's bringing the ski underneath the body, which allows you to produce the kick. If your ski's out here, you can't kick. If your ski is under your body, you can kick just fine. Find a little space and just move within that space. Little steps. I must look kind of crazy talking to myself here. Anyway, you're going to be doing very small, basic steps. At the beginning, I taught you how to lift those skis up. We did the 360 step, step, step. And now, when we are turning, all we're doing is lifting up that ski and pushing from side to side. The toes come towards the nose. Toes to nose. Toes to nose. And the back of the ski is staying down as I'm turning left. Now you might want to just focus on skiing, for example, on the going in left anti-clockwise circles, like so. And once you feel comfortable on one side, move to the other. After you've practiced those drills, you feel a little bit more confident with the turning, just build on it. And by build on it, I mean spend 10 to 15 minutes just going in small little circles until you get that balance. You can do some more single leg work if you feel one leg's weaker than the other, and just hop, hop, hop on that single leg to build up your confidence once again. But what you don't want to do is to find yourself with your legs really far apart. That's the key thing to avoid. If your legs are out here, then your body weight is right down the middle. And not only do you not have much balance, you don't have much ability to move or to throw your weight from side to side. If I'm here and I say, I want you to throw your weight from this ski all the way over to this one, you have to go down and big push to get your weight just up onto the center. We don't want that. We want to be able to, if my legs are nice and close together like this, just lean. All my weight is now over the ski. And we have a really cool saying, which is Adam Keenan from Op Base Camp came up with, which is Tony knows. Toe, knee, nose. But we say to our athletes that we're coaching, we say, who knows? And they say back, Tony knows. So, when you are doing this penguin, you're just saying in your mind, toe, knee, nose. You're looking down and making sure that your knee is over your toes. And if you're, you can infer that your nose is over your knee and toes if you're looking down and that is the case. Perfect, so now I'm pushing along and I'm saying in my head, toe, knee, nose. Bringing my ski underneath me, toe, knee, nose. Toe, knee, nose. Toe, knee, nose. Very nice. I'm going to assume now you have a little bit more confidence. You're able to get the balance, you're feeling strong. The next step is going to be step and clap. I want you to push yourself so that you fall, or at least stumble with your balance now whilst you have control, rather than waiting until you are going really fast for your first fall. I'm clapping over my ski like so. All of my body weight. I'm even leaning, and some people will say, hey, hang on a second, you shouldn't be leaning in this exaggerated manner, which totally makes sense because it's something we have to unteach you later on. But the purpose of the lean isn't because that's proper technique, it's to exaggerate the movement. And exaggeration is always a really useful way of bringing out the best movement later down the line, as long as you know that it's an intentional exaggeration. Practice clapping over the ski. You can even do 2 claps. And as long as you have your knee over your toes and your nose over both of those, you should be able to balance in this position. Okay, this next drill is a little bit technical. We're standing still. We're just going to stand in the V shape. We're going to go over our weight onto one ski and then just bob up and down. Bob up and down. Bob. But you're bobbing on one ski. That's up and down, full body weight on one ski. You don't have to hop, you don't have to come off the ground. You just want to get used to this rising and falling on one ski. Because if you trip, or if you fall or stumble, naturally your body is going to jump to catch yourself. By teaching you to do this little bob, this little hop, you now know that you have the ability to put your weight over the ski, and if you lean a bit too much to this side, the side that I want you to be able to lean onto, you know that if you lean too much, you can just catch yourself. So, I've committed my body weight to this ski, but if I've never tried this bobbing effect, I'm never going to want to put my body weight here. I'm going to want to keep it right in the middle where I'm safe. I'm not falling anywhere. I'm here, my body's in the middle, I've got ski left and right, and I'm rigid. This is great. Not when you go fast, because or at least try and go faster, you're not going to be able to produce any forward momentum. And you're not going to be able to get the satisfaction out of skiing. So what do? We bring our feet together and we get used to being in this unpredictable, unpleasant position right over the ski, because if I fall to this side, I simply catch myself. You want to practice that as much as you possibly can. I now want you to go a little bit quicker. I want you to understand the side-to-side motion. I so often see people skiing like this, not understanding the concept of side-to-side motion. So now, I'm putting my weight on my ski, I'm looking off to the side. I'm now going to go 3, 2, 1, and then lift and push, feet together. And now I'm going to go again. 3, 2, I'm using my hands for momentum, looking where I want to go. 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Swing and push in that direction, balance, feet together. You must push against that side angle that you've created with your ski in order to get that forward trajectory. So I'm angle, and I'm pushing feet together. If you're pushing backwards, like so, I go 3, 2, 1, and I push backwards, I'm static because I've pushed against very little to no resistance. If I walk, I'm essentially on a treadmill. This is not classic skiing. In fact, you can call me Michael Jackson because this is more of a moonwalk. Wow, that is such a lame reference. We've got our basic sideways motion. And much to your pleasure, no doubt, I have left the frame. Once you have mastered, or at least got to the point where you can push, bring your feet together and go. That's all I want to see. We're at the beginner phase right now. I just need to see you go in a new direction other than the way that your ski was initially facing. Each kick is a push in a new direction. And now I'm going to go for a controversial drill who some really don't like, but I think it's fantastic. So I don't care. We're going to create this pizza shape and we're going to swing our hands in this motion. I could really do with facing the camera, but it's downhill and I'll just keep rolling. So I'm just simply swinging my hands one side to another, and I'm lifting my skis and bringing them underneath my body, and I'm embracing that glide. And when my hand goes in the direction of the ski, I'm letting it roll, keeping that momentum. Whoa! God, that was embarrassing. Again, you're just pushing and using your hands over the ski. Ask yourself this question: who knows? And the answer to that question is Tony knows. That's because my toe and my knee and my nose are aligned every single time. The goal is to keep this very, very simple. Once you get to this point where you're actually able to balance on the ski, push side to side, and have a nose over your knee, over your toe, the next step is to just do that for 15 to 20 minutes. Once again, to really reinforce the exercise, really reinforce your balance. So now, as you can see, I am doing this very gently, very easily, and I'm putting in some turns, and when I turn, I'm throwing my hand in the direction I want to go. I'm looking where I want to go, and my weight is over my inside ski. Now at this point, I'm going to do a visual demonstration of what you might be looking like. And it's very simply something like this. Kind of straight legs, very normal, slow, a bit of a waddle kind of style. This is the stage I'm hoping that you are currently at. And if you're at this stage, you're now ready to start stopping. How do we stop? Well, on roller skis, we don't have the advantage of nice, smooth snow beneath our feet. So here is a demonstration of a snowplow. And that's what we're going to learn first. Sorry for interrupting this video. I just want to say a massive thank you for those who have been watching the channel. So if you are able to support me in any way, I have a Patreon type service which is linked in the description. And even if it's a small amount, it can very much help making more of these videos, and hopefully they'll be super helpful. How do we do the snowplow? Well, the snowplow requires that your weight is in the middle of wide skis, toes pointing in. It's a reverse pizza. You're now going to be pushing pressure on your heels. Your heels out, your toes in. Point your toes in towards your body. Point your ski straight. Heels out, toes in. Heels out, toes in. And just do it without any speed at all. You could even do it standing still by pushing your knees into the middle and then heels out. Knees into the middle and heels out. If you're struggling with that motion, you can do it with one foot and simply do a sideways motion. So I've got one ski pointing forward, and then I'm putting my outside ski pointing in across me. I've got my weight on my middle ski, and then I'm just putting my edge down to create that resistance on one ski. Once you get that comfort on one ski, you can start doing it on two. Find a slight decline And just get used to putting your feet in this nice V shape, very, very slowly. Again, practice that, get used to it. Heels pushing out, toes in, knees together. Now, I'm going to focus on pushing my heels out. It all looks very much the same. That is because I can do it. Some people really struggle with this, and that's totally fine. It takes a bit of practice. If you are very much struggling, remember, your inside edge is what creates the cut. If I'm pushing, or the dent in the snow, if I'm pushing off the edge of my ski. Not the flat, because if I push off the flat, it will simply slide across the top of the snow. Two flat surfaces, no resistance, or little. I create an edge, and all of a sudden I have a platform from which to push. Think about it like the starting blocks in a 100-meter sprint. You've got platforms, and they push off against those platforms. If you stamp in the snow and look down with the edge of your ski, and then lift your ski up, you'll see a platform. Maybe you can see that in the snow there, who knows. Right, you now have the basic understanding of how to stop. The next and most important way of stopping is simply by falling. Sit down. And the reason why that's so important is because there are times where you're coming down a hill that's just a little beyond your ability and you have to make a decision. The snowplow's not working. You're not getting the traction you need to sufficiently slow your speed because the increase of speed down the hill is coming quicker than the decrease caused by the snowplow. And in those situations, the best thing to do is to sit down or fall over. And if you do that earlier rather than later, you'll be just fine. And I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be able to do this demonstration because of my back, but I'll try. So I'm going to imagine I'm going too fast, don't know what to do, I'm just going to sit down. Simple as that. You can of course do that at varying speeds. I would like to now teach you how to incorporate the poles. Get the poles on properly. Whatever poles you have, they'll be varied, but you want the part of the top of the pole to be where your thumb separates from your index finger, to be as close to the handle as it possibly can be. And then you want it to be tight. Not so tight that it's cutting off circulation or hurting, but it needs to be tight. And then if I just drop my poles behind me, you can see they fall down. So you think, hey, they're not tight enough. But that's not true. They're perfectly tight. There's just one more factor that I need to do. I lift my hands up, still isn't working, but now I'm going to point the palms of my hands up to the sky. And there, by simply pointing the palm of my hand up to the sky, I'm getting the poles to go behind me. And that's necessary because I don't want you to get into the habit of gripping onto the handles. Very often you see people skiing, I'll show you a demonstration now, they're skiing away and they got their poles gripped in their hands really tight and it looks like this. And that looks a bit silly. So this again is poles in the hands and you're gripping onto them. I'm going to change one thing, and just one thing. And that one thing is going to be releasing the poles. So I'm throwing them up and releasing them behind me. And how much smoother and nicer does that look? But as well as smoothness, there's a rock there. That's what I fell on. You want to be able to throw and release the poles because then if I don't release the poles, this is the maximum push motion that I have. Whereas if I release the poles, look how much longer my poles remain in the snow before I disappear. And you think, well, why does that matter? And the reason it matters is because now, if I release here, I'm depriving myself of using the full range of motion of my muscles, my back muscles, to here, and then the extension or the contraction of my triceps, which offers that final little flick. All I want you to do is to push with your poles. You're not going to use your legs, not for lesson one. All we're doing is we're leaning forward on them and we're pulling our elbows back. I'm leaning on my poles, I'm pulling my elbows back. And if you see, my elbows going up into the sky behind me. and I'm not gripping on to the handle. I'm letting them go. And I'm pulling the hands forward to bring the poles back into my grip. Practice this and focus on stage one, simply leaning onto the poles. Stage two, dragging back with the elbows, like you're pulling a rope. Pull the elbows. Now stage three is be loose with your hands. Let the pole disappear behind you. You're not throwing it behind you, you're just letting it go. You're not gripping the handles, and therefore your poles are naturally going to stay behind you until you pull them back forward. This is the final stage of lesson one. I want you to incorporate that double pole into a step turn, double pole, step turn, double pole, step turn. I'm pushing, step, push, step, and the other way, step, push. And the most critical thing about this exercise is that I'm not trying to do the poling and the stepping at the same time. So thank you so much for watching. This has been the very basic introduction to skate skiing on snow, Nordic, and I thank you very much for watching Nordicsen Ski School.